most of these people would read a few books and get fascinated with it and interested in it because they had a hunger for the spiritual connection to nature, which I think has been missing in the Western traditions for a long time. The idea was to give some sort of real basis, real content, so people could know how to proceed.
I spent years as a child going to all the different churches because I was drawn to the ritual and the ceremony. But none of them fit for me. None of them were right. The church that I loved, that was in my heart from the time I came in here, was the Mother Earth. This is my cathedral. This is my church. It's always been that way for me, and it will always be that way.
You know, they can build a sweat house and they can go in, they can learn the song. But it's fake. And if you believe in a higher power, grandfather, Tupia, whatever you want to call him, he knows that.
The sweat lodge, it looks traditional, and but what we do inside isn't exactly what I've seen Native Americans do inside. It has the same essence. It has a different form. And that's been a lot of my council's working on developing our own form. It's real important for us, for people to know that we're not white people trying to be Native American.
I suspect that a lot of pan-Indian shamanism conducted by non-Indians is strictly based on visits to Indian reservations and reserves during the summertime, when often powwows, which are not religious ceremonies, total secular, commercialized, very close to the rodeo, often people come and see those, and they see the pageantry, and they see the genuine bonding amongst Indian people. That part is authentic, and that part is real, coming together once a summer in a large encampment so you can meet people and visit old friends and relations and things like that. That is often misconstrued, I believe, to be a religious event.
I don't think you have to adopt a culture to show your respect. If you're interested in the culture, and you want to know more about it, you go to the source, go to the people, and the people will tell you as much as they're allowed to tell you. And you get to know the culture. Then you start to respect. You understand it, you respect it.
They're in areas where they don't belong, because in order to be Indian spiritual leader, you have to be born and raised that way. It doesn't come from a book, and it doesn't come from a couple fast lessons on the weekend or whatever, and they can't have that. They aren't able to have that.
You look in those books and there's Vision Quest in 3 days, and we all sit there and say, we don't do it in a year sometimes. Learn how to build a sweat lodge in a weekend. It took me 2 years, and a lot of stumbling. We didn't offer that to the public for years, and it's because we knew we didn't have it down yet. It wasn't right yet.
One of the things I've been told is that you can have the pipe, but it is not empowered without the teachings. And that the teachings that go with religion, tribal religions, often have this long association from the beginning, the genesis of the tribe up until the present day.
Even though a lot of the people getting involved in these ways and sometimes picking up shamanic activities may not have the shamanic background, but they may have gone through a great deal of other experiences, life experiences, that may have prepped them in a certain way.
The sweat lodge I was taught and given, and I had to earn the right to do the sweat lodge. I had to earn the right by doing it all, learning the fire, learning the ways of the lodge. So I earned that right over the years.
The fact that spirituality has evolved for thousands and thousands of years here, to take it so casually and think that people can stroll in and in a matter of weeks or months or years understand something that has been a burden and responsibility as well as a gift and a privilege from our elders who were given it by their ancestors, who were given this sense of understanding from their ancestors still. A month, a year, 5 years, what is that?
Your birth date falls in the realm of you are a raven. Your spirit keeper is Mujikiwis. Mujikiwis translates in the English from Lakota is grizzly bear. So I take this general information and we do research on your birth date. And then from that information we get on your birth date, not one tribe, but a culmination of lots of different beliefs and different tribe beliefs. And we take that information, we write a book about you. When your book is finished,
I think people like Lynn Andrews and Carlos Castaneda and Jamaki Highwater and Swift Deer and Rolling Thunder and all these people, they've taken advantage of the ignorant public. I think some people generally want to know things. They really do. But these other people, they have the white power and privilege to do these things, so they go around and do that. They always seem to make a lot of money behind all this.
There's fees. The fees cover our cost. We don't make anything. We don't have our nonprofit from the government yet, but everything here at Earthwalkers is nonprofit. It works. I think that's the big thing we want to share is this way works. There's a way to do it in honor, reverence, and respect.
Once again, it's taking what's sacred and making it profane. It reminds me of how I would respond if someone asked me what price I would set on my grandmother or grandfather. How can you sell something that has to do with your very survival?
I have a problem in the fact that we're using buying and selling in somewhat of a derogatory way, when in fact buying and selling is a reciprocal aspect that happened hundreds of years ago, but it might have happened with shells. Money is an exchange form. It always has been. We're trading. It isn't necessarily bad just because you sell something.
They have only seen the profit side. I've heard people where they charge anywhere from $50 to $100 to take you into a sweat lodge, which to me is very hurtful to the ancestors who looked at the sweat lodge as a place of sacredness.
You know, when somebody is trying to teach you something, and if the message is real, it shouldn't cost you anything. That learning is free. That sharing is free. And if there's somebody that's going to sell you a sweat lodge or sell you a ceremony, well, that simply violates the spirit of that very act. It's like somebody trying to sell you the Brooklyn Bridge. It can't be done. And it's the same with Indian ceremonies. It just simply can't be done.